Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is Sunday. It's August 13th. We're going to change this. This is kind of an amendment to the update that I said on Sunday. You're seeing this now on Monday. I was going to do the sauced tomatoes today, but because it's supposed to be rainy all day tomorrow, I'm actually going to push that to tomorrow and not do a cooking video today. I'm actually going to do a gardening update today. So you're seeing a two for one. You're seeing part cooking, part gardening with me. So, and like I said, the sauced tomatoes, I'm going to kind of point them out. They're right over there. They're just covered. You know, this gives them another day to just ripen. They're fine in the box. If you loosely cover them with a towel, especially if you have bugs in your house, like I have flies in the house, that'll just protect them for another day. I also need to grab a couple of tomatoes out of my garden that are starting to really turn red, so I can add that to the sauce. So we'll do that tomorrow. I did decide overnight I am going to do that over the course of a few days, instead of putting out 20 videos in one day where you guys are all scratching your heads going, oh my god, I can't sit through all of this. They're going to be spaced out a little bit, like I did at the beginning of when I did the cooking shows. So that's going to be tomorrow's start process. Like I said, I kicked the can down the road just a little bit. I am going to do the dumplings, but those are going to be filmed sometime probably after next week, because I've got the lamb to do, and then I'll do the dumplings probably towards the end of the month versus the middle. Now, I did not forget about your goulash. I know I have a viewer that's waiting patiently for the goulash. I need to get ingredients for that. I'll do that next month. And Cal, I know you've been waiting so patiently for your Swedish meatball recipe. I will do that in September. I promise that is on the list to do. I also have my husband's birthday coming up in September. Actually, it's a month from now. And I need to get his meals going, which includes, I'm growing the cabbage. So hopefully I'll be having home garden cabbage. Sorry, my nose is a little bit runny this morning. All right, so let's get into the gardening part. Excuse me, I had to blow my nose, and I normally don't do that on camera, but you know, sometimes life happens and things happen. So, we're going to go outside. It's very humid. It's kind of partly cloudy today. But this is the new development. And as you can see right here, and I'm going to bring you in close, this is the lilac bush that I planted in June. I bought, and he actually is blooming again. Now, he has sort of a lilac smell, and I did some research last night on the lilac bush, and I'm thinking he's a different version than my big lilac bush. Wait, right there. Yeah, that would be the lilac bush. Now, my regular lilac bush, and I've had this one for a long time. I've had this for about probably 8 or 9 years now. It only blooms once a year. And then the other new one that I got from my Home Depot, and we're going to walk over, this has only bloomed once a year. And that's this guy, and you can actually see right in here. I'll go close. Those were where his blooms were. So I'm thinking possibly that lilac bush in the front is a different version of the lilac. And I did read up that there is one particular lilac that will bloom. It'll bloom in the spring, and then it'll bloom again starting in July. Well, this is a little bit late since we're already into August, but will bloom from now until the first freeze. So I'm hoping it's doing well enough that it will last. Now, for the flowers, I know I haven't done a big update on the flower garden. They're doing pretty good. As you can see, there's still a little bit of grass in here. I did weed out the grass the other day. It's a losing battle. I would literally have to be weeding almost every day to control the grass, but I got a lot of it out, and the dandelions are just, this year this has been really bad for dandelions in that garden. And you're probably hearing an airplane going overhead. I'm on the approach to Midway, and I'm at the start of the approach for O'Hare, although O'Hare is several miles down the line. So everything else though is doing good. My bird bath and the flowers around my bird bath are just beautiful this year. And I wish I would have taken a picture with my petunias up here in the pot. They were just, you can see how big they were, but they were just, I mean, it was the sea of flowers. It was so pretty. So that's the update for the front garden. I'm going to take you guys out back and show you the garden, the vegetable garden. Yeah, give me a minute. You guys stay in. You just were out. Oh, the heck with it. All right, go ahead. So, I'm going to let the dogs out. So, the eggplants that I replanted in mid-June, actually probably more towards July. If you're new to my channel and never seen the gardening videos, I actually planted these in the ground in the main garden over there in June, and they just weren't doing anything. They were just very slow to grow. So I took them all out, and I didn't actually repot them right away. It was about 4 days after I pulled them, and I put all new eggplant, which are now producing. And then I decided, you know, let me see if these, if they die, they die. If they grow, they grow. I'll just put them in a pot and, you know, pretty foliage. Well, lo and behold, all of these have produced flowers. And everywhere you see a flower, you're going to get an eggplant. So the unfortunate thing with these is once they start doing an eggplant, it takes about 45 days or so for them to grow into an eggplant. So by the time these really start to grow, we will have had our first frost. So I'll bring those inside and see if I can keep them alive and give them enough sun so they can grow. Everything else, my rosemary's doing really well. Parsley's doing good, and so is my rosemary and my lavender. And I probably should separate those two because I'm noticing that rosemary is taking off and may actually push out the lavender. I'll be right back. I need to stop the video for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm back. Had to chat with my neighbor and wanted to give her some of my peach jam. Anyway, we're going into the garden, and the new development is this cucumber is getting huge, and I have quite a few other cucumbers that are in various stages, and of course my eggplants are still growing. My onions are starting to get big. This is my first year with actually growing onions, so I'm not quite sure when to pick them, but I do need to go through my beans again. I have a couple of beans that need to be picked. 2 pickles. So far, my squash's flowers have stayed on to the squash, and I'm sorry that you're hearing my Cullen bark. Stop it, you guys. Go on, go. So we're going to see if we get squash this year. Some of my tomato plants, like this one in the back, just didn't do as well as the ones out front. But I do have tomatoes that I could pick. I'm going to give them, some of these need another day, but there are a couple of tomatoes back here that I can actually start picking. Like these back here, I can start picking, and I can actually put those in my sauce. Matter of fact, I am going to grab this one. And probably this one down here. Well, he's a little bit orange. Okay, so I've got a couple of tomatoes that I'll add into the sauce tomatoes. So that pretty much concludes this week's gardening video. Now this tree right behind me usually loses its leaves at the start of August, and he's holding on to his leaves, which signifies to me that we may not get a really hard freeze for quite a while. Usually I can predict the weather with my lilac bush out front, and sometimes with that tree, if they lose their leaves really fast, that usually signifies that, you know, cold days are coming, but it hasn't done that yet, so I'm excited. Hopefully the garden will hold off a little bit longer, and I'll be able to have all of the products that need to grow. So, I'm going to wrap this up for this week. This was Gardening with Joel. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment down below if you have any comments or questions or anything. And make sure, if you're just following the gardening videos, I'm doing those once a week. But make sure to stay tuned for the Cooking with Joel videos, because I'm getting ready to make the tomato sauce that will be the basis of any great Italian sauce that you do. So that'll be coming up on, you'll start seeing those on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm taking today off, and I'll see you on the next Gardening with Joel video.